Ryan and Taehyung had been inseparable since they were kids. Growing up in the same neighborhood, they spent countless hours exploring the woods, playing make believe games, and sharing secrets under the starlit sky. They were each other's confidants, partners in crimes, and best friends. One sunny afternoon, as they sat on a blanket in Ryan's backyard, little Taehyung turned to her with a serious expression on his face. Ryani, I have something important to tell you. Ryan looked at him curiously, sensing the gravity of his words. What, Tete? Taehyung took a deep breath before speaking, while fiddling his little fingers. I promise that when we grow up, I'll marry you. You're my best friend, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Ryan's eyes widened in surprise at his declaration. She felt a warm rush of emotions flood her heart. Knowing that Taehyung's promise was more than just a childhood fantasy. Really, Tete, you mean it? Taehyung nodded earnestly, a shy smile tugging at the corner of his lips. I mean it, Vayani. You're the most important person in my life. Touched by his sincerity, Ryan felt her cheeks flush with a mixture of happiness and uncertainty. She had always cherished their friendship, but the idea of marriage seemed like a distant dream for two young kids. But as she looked into Taehyung's warm brown eyes, she saw a glimmer of determination and hope that made her heart flutter with anticipation. And promise too, I'll be there for you always, no matter what. With their pinky fingers intertwined in a solemn vow, Ryan and Taehyung sealed their promise with a shared smile. Little did they know that their innocent pact would shape the course of their lives in ways they could never have imagined. Few years passed, they were now 12, and Taehyung's parents decided to send him abroad for higher studies. as the day of Taehyung's departure for his higher studies abroad drew near. Vine felt a sense of bittersweet anticipation building in her heart. She had known for months that this moment would come, but the reality of saying goodbye to her best friend and love was still a heavy weight on her shoulders. On the morning of his flight, Vine stood outside Taehyung's house, clutching a small gift in her hands. She watched as he emerged from the front door, his backpack slung over his shoulder and a mixture of excitement and sadness in his eyes. Hey Vayani. Taehyung greeted her with a warm smile, but she could see the hint of melancholy in his gaze. I can't believe all this. Ryan forced a smile, trying to push back the tears threatening to spill over. I know, Tete, it's going to be strange not having you around. Taehyung stepped closer and enveloped her in a tight hug, his arms wrapping around her as if he never wanted to let go. I'm going to miss you so much. You've been my rock for as long as I can remember. Van buried her face in his chest, inhaling the familiar scent of his cologne and feeling a surge of emotion swelling up inside her. I'm going to miss you too, Tay. Promise me you'll keep in touch. Taehyung pulled back slightly, cupping Vine's face in his hands and gazing into her eyes with a mixture of love and longing. I promise I'll call you every chance I get, and when I come back, we'll pick up right where we left off. Vine nodded, her throat tight with unshed tears. She handed him the small gift she had bought. A token of their friendship and love that she hoped would remind him of her while he was away. Taehyung opened the gift with a tender smile, revealing a bracelet engraved with their initials intertwined. His eyes widening in surprise and gratitude as he slipped it onto his wrist, the metal cool against his skin. This is beautiful, Taehyung murmured, his voice filled with emotion. I'll wear it every day as a reminder of you. Ryan smiled through her tears, feeling a sense of comfort, knowing that a piece of her would always be with Taehyung. No matter where he went, take care of yourself, Tae. Study hard and make us proud. Taehyung nodded solemnly, his gaze never leaving hers. I will, and I'll come back to you, I promise. With one final embrace, Taehyung bid Wine farewell, his footsteps echoing down the street. As he headed towards the waiting car that would take him to the airport. Wine watched him go, her heart heavy with longing and hope for their future together. As the days turned into weeks and then months, Wine found herself counting down the moments until Taehyung's return. She cherished their late night phone calls and video chats, each conversation filling the void left by his absence. But as the time passed and Taehyung delved into his studies and new experiences abroad, Ryan couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. Their once inseparable bond had been stretched thin by distance and time. And she wondered if their childhood promise would hold strong against the challenges they faced. Years had flown by since Ryan and Taehyung's emotional separation. They had grown from teenagers into young adults, navigating life's ups and downs together, their bond falling apart with each passing day. One sunny afternoon, Ryan received a call from Taehyung's parents informing her that he was finally returning home after years of studying abroad. Her heart soared with joy at the news, unable to contain her excitement at the thought of seeing him again. The next day, as she stood outside the airport, a bouquet of flowers clutched in her hands. Vian's heart raced with anticipation. She scanned the crowd, searching for a familiar face among the sea of strangers, her pulse quickening with each passing moment. And then she saw him, Taehyung, emerging from the arrival gate, his eyes scanning the crowd until they landed on her. A smile lit up his face as he made his way towards her, his steps quickening with each stride. Van noticed how much he has grown, much more handsome than before. He looked like a prince from some Disney movie. Vian, Taehyung called out, his voice filled with warmth and familiarity. He enveloped her in a tight hug, his arms wrapping around her as if he never wanted to let go. I missed you so much. Vian felt tears prickling at the corners of her eyes as she held on to him. She clutched onto him, his embrace feeling the same as it was years ago, warm and comforting. I missed you too. Welcome back. As they pulled back from the embrace, Taehyung smiled, his eyes flickering with excitement. There's something I need to tell you, Ryan. I have someone I want you to meet. Ryan's heart skipped a beat at his words, a sense of unease settling in the pit of her stomach. She followed Taehyung through the bustling airport, her mind racing with questions and doubts as they approached a young woman standing by the baggage claim. Ryan, this is Heijin, Taehyung introduced, his arms wrapping around the girl's waist. My girlfriend. Ryan felt as if the ground had been ripped out from under her feet, her heart shattering into a million pieces at Taehyung's words. After years of waiting and longing, this is what she got, her love being with another woman. Does that mean he forgot all the promises he made? She forced a smile, trying to mask the pain coursing through her veins as she extended a hand towards Hejin. It's nice to meet you, Hejin, Ryan managed to say, her voice trembling slightly. Hejin smiled in return, a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. As they made their way out of the airport, Ryan walked alongside Taehyung and Hejin, feeling like an outsider in her own story. She felt as if her fate was at the door of loneliness, her condition similar to a stone, her smile long gone, thoughts racing as her mind replayed all the years without Taehyung. How stupid of her to think that he would remember a promise they made as kids. But she still remember. How come he forgot? Was it so easy to replace her? She noticed how his wrists were empty. The bracelet she gave was nowhere to be seen. Did he throw it away? Or maybe removed it because of his girlfriend? Or maybe because he didn't need her in his life anymore?